this week some talk about the idea of Halloween not being celebrated in schools. Hastings School was the school that hit the news to find out, to discover that a lot of parents were quite upset about the idea of it being taken out. This not a surprise to me. When I was in school, for sure, there were a lot of Jehovah's Witness kids, other kids who just didn't. Their parents just weren't keen on them being part of the celebrations. They kept them home that day.
Yeah, same.
Oh.
Yeah. Same. I definitely went to a school where, when I was going to school, there's about 3 or 4 kids in the grade that just stayed home for Halloween. Yeah. But also after I left my elementary school and was in high school, they just canceled it altogether. You couldn't dress up. They didn't have Harry Potter in the library either. Just to give you a little bit more background on how my school went.
Where the thinking is coming from.
Because that was my elementary school, Hastings, and we had Halloween parties way back then.
Well, it was one of the best days of the year.
Yeah.
You have all this candy. You get half a day off that you could just dress up. Then they used to have like the parade where you walked around and.
That's right.
When we got to the older grades, my elementary school time was in Killarney, Manitoba, and when you got to the older grades, you actually looked forward to seeing all the kids coming around and whatnot. It was a little break from school, and then you'd see some cool costumes and stuff. And when I was a kid, I never got to dress up as Batman. So obviously I took advantage.
You're living out your fantasy right now.
But that's the thing. So I'd always see the kids that were wearing the Batman costumes, and I'd be like, your parents did it right.
What were you dressed as a kid, though?
I was a Ninja Turtle.
Okay.
Almost the same kind of get-up.
Yeah, okay, sure, just in the shell.
Yeah, my quads weren't as big.
Yeah.
I had a really crazy thought about why, because in the news story about Hastings canceling Halloween, they didn't mention why. There was no point of view from the school as to why they were canceling it.
And they also canceled their Christmas concert.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But in specifically in reference to Halloween, I thought to myself, what if this is just a brilliant way, because what better way to scare kids than to threaten to take Halloween away, right?
They're all like,
yeah, that'd be terrifying, right? So I don't think it was like a religious reason or anything like that. I think they were just trying to scare the crap out of the kids, and I think they probably did a very good job.
Just one big ruse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, didn't they get reinstated though?
well, this is I'm sure they're still in discussion, and the reality is that it has sparked discussion once again. The same way that it has sparked discussion every time Christmas comes around, and we can't call it Christmas, we've got to call it Winter Festival-y. And to me, the thing that's frustrating for me is I really don't see the benefit in taking things, taking education away, taking awareness away, and that's what I notch it up to. If you want to have Halloween, have it. It's you can't ignore it. It's happening. It's a second. People spend. When it comes to the market, right? People are spending they're spending tons on Christmas, and Halloween comes in second, right? Yeah. You can't pretend that it's not happening. Yeah. So let's not have your Halloween celebrations, but then also, have your Christmas, have your Ramadan, bring it all in.
Why
let's
not?
have an open conversation
instead
about
of ignoring all these holidays,
beliefs.
Educate the kids and educate everyone about all of them, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to learn about these things.
I think that's one of the challenges when you try to be, in Canada, we try to be all-inclusive. I'm sitting here, Batman is preaching.
Yeah.
That's very ominous.
Absolutely.
It's one of the things when, as a country in Canada, we try to be so all-inclusive, but that leads.
You should run for president.
I'm going to.
Yeah, really, I'll vote for you, Batman.
Especially with these abs. I
don't know if we're taking you more or less seriously.
I know, that's the thing.
No.
But you try to be so all-inclusive, and you try to include everybody, but that leads to these types of challenges, right? You're trying not to offend people, or you're trying to include as many people as you can. Well, when everybody doesn't celebrate the same holidays, you almost have to expect that. You expect that, there's going to be these educational opportunities, like you said, for people to learn about these other holidays, these other cultures. That's kind of part of the point.
It seems, based on how secular Halloween is, I know in its origins it was pagan, and there's some
that's the issue.
And people have an issue with the fact that people dress up like witches and stuff like that. But those are the witches that exactly.
People have issues with that too.
I have issue with that. That's but it's the witches that are portrayed through Halloween are probably more offensive to people who practice Wicca than anyone else, right?
Sure.
It's such a secular holiday. It's such a just fun time for kids, and to take that away just seems so counterintuitive to me. Based on my experiences when I was little, that was that Halloween was like my Christmas. I would look forward to that all year. I still do. It's so awesome. It's such
When I was a kid, also Halloween was more of a communal thing, where you went out on the streets and you went and got candy and you met all your neighbors, and there wasn't like, granted there was always like that, you might get the razor blade in the apple.
Yeah.
But in like a small town, it's where all the kids kind of got together. We were able to
They
meet.
still do that? Like if you go back to the small towns, because I know in the
hope
city
so.
now, there's a lot of parents that don't have their kids going out. It's not
Or
safe.
a lot more parents
The malls
these
are
days will
doing this.
go with their kids
Yeah.
the entire time. For
Or
me,
there's
it was just
Halloween
like,
parties.
okay, it's Halloween. See you guys later. Take
Yeah,
a
pretty much.
pillowcase and come back. If it's not full, we'll send you back out. You know, like,
Malls are
yeah.
opening up now on Halloween, and like they're having these safe Halloween parties. I don't know, Kim. You said that there's still tons of kids that go out
There's
in your
more
neighborhood.
in my neighborhood, and I think that the kids are starting to realize. I even remember living in a small town. Not that there was like a bad neighborhood in a small town, but there was always like the rich block. Everyone went there because you might get like a can of Coke. But now actually, it's better to come to the hood because all of these people who are like setting up and raising their families there are like, we want kids to come, so you get like good candy,
well, that's
comic
stuff, yeah.
books,
And those are the neighborhoods too, where
yeah.
they're like fun stuff is set up. You know, like
Yeah.
come in, we'll scare the crap out of you.
That's
You know, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
and there are a lot of neighborhoods around town that are doing that. We know
Yeah.
people are making these huge haunted houses. I interviewed this guy a few years ago who spent $10,000 alone on LED lights. And never mind all of the decorations.
That's like one of Tracy's paychecks.
Yeah, exactly.
Bi-weekly. Yeah, so you're right. It always has been a fun thing. And I grew up like as a religious kid. My stepdad was a minister in town, and I was just never really an issue.
It doesn't
And
seem to be at odds, like in my mind,
Yeah.
anyway. You know, it's
curious,
just a
but
fun time.
it's the squeaky wheel, or what's that saying?
Squeaky wheel gets the
gets
grease.
the grease, and that really is it. And I really find I'm only getting into the school system starting off, but I mean, anybody's gone through it. As a parent, you really do notice that it's those couple of people who make a lot of noise, and they don't really stand for the majority, but then they often are the ones sort of driving changes, and I don't think that's necessarily
Then
a
on
good
the other
thing.
hand, if we all squeak, we're just all going to end up covered in grease, which is
Just
maybe that's a good thing.
but if
I
it's
don't know.
like a good kind of grease, like
It is a
something
good kind of grease, for
like
sure.
Squeeze
Is it like from a can?
holes.
Or?
like
It's
is it
from one of those,
coconut
like,
oil? Like coconut
like
oil
in
is
the-
very good for your skin.
Yes, it's very good for your skin.
all
for
just
sure.
idea what we're
And
talking
it
about.
smells
it
nice.
just sounds like one big problem for Batman. So
Batman,
Mitch,
where are you?
Bring us back Halloween, bring us back Christmas, and all the other holidays.
I will do
Yeah.
that.
Thank you, Batman.